All right, everyone, let's start your week with a dose of crypto news. Yes, the first news is Sam Bankman-Fried has an amazing reason for not testifying. I don't really know if this is going to fly or not, but his lawyers basically said that if he doesn't have enough Adderall, he cannot focus on his defense. So he should actually take the trial day off on Tuesday to sort it out. Obviously, this is BS because I don't think they want him to testify because obviously he's going to be stupid and admit to things that he shouldn't admit to. You know, when he gets on camera, Sam kind of like loses his mind and he just says everything just like it is. And that's exactly what his lawyers don't want him to do. Sam is probably dying to testify, but his lawyers know that if he testifies, he's going to just make it worse for himself than it actually is. So they're thinking of any excuse that they could come up with. So they're like, obviously, he's addicted to Adderall, which makes me think, how many substances is this dude addicted to? So the attorneys for Sam Bankman-Fried, they sent a letter to Judge Lewis Kaplan, and they requested the FTX founder be allowed access to his prescribed medication during his ongoing fraud trial, and he can't focus without it. Basically, they say he has ADHD, so they're using that ADHD defense. And of course, he was prescribed the medication Adderall to be taken throughout the day. So, but he's only been permitted to take the drug once in the morning before being transported to court. I don't really see why this is. I mean, if this is an actual problem, just give him the damn Adderall. Like, I guess he can die of overdose, but I would think he's smart enough not to do that. Actually, you know what? I don't know if he really is. But either way, I mean, if he overdoses, it's kind of his fault. And he should have like parents and stuff around to tell him to not overdose. So the thing is, like, Mr. Bankman-Fried has been doing his best to remain focused during the trial for the past 2 weeks, despite not having his prescribed dose of Adderall during trial hours. Now, I'm not exactly sure why they don't give him the Adderall. Like, if this is really a problem, just give him the Adderall. I mean, then he won't really have an excuse. Now, I think the defense is just trying to find an excuse, but this seems to be like kind of a weird thing for the prosecution to fix that. I guess there's some court rule about like inmates having access to drugs and substances, which I can totally understand, but I think they could make an exception because he is actually defending himself. And if this tactic is going to basically like allow him to get away with not actually testifying, then yeah, definitely give him the Adderall and see, like I want to see him defend himself, which he would probably just admit everything and make everything even worse for himself. So the defense attorneys said they have attempted to resolve the issue with prison officials but received no response. They proposed that the client be given an extended 12-hour dose of Adderall on Monday morning before trial resumes, but noted there is no guarantee prison officials will provide this or that it will be effective. Whether it's effective or not, I don't really care. Like, if they give you the prescribed amount of Adderall, then Sam Bankman-Fried must testify. He should not be given special treatment, and this should not actually be delayed. I think what's happening is that his lawyers know that he's screwed, and they're trying to delay the trial and the outcome as much as possible. Because obviously their client doesn't want to go to jail, but he is obviously going to jail. So like they're just basically trying to delay it. I don't think there's like any other explanation for this particular tactic. And of course, if basically the prison guards don't allow his Adderall, and the filing asks the court to issue an order to allow Bankman-Fried's attorneys to provide him the drug at the courthouse on trial days. Yeah, give him the Adderall. I want to see what he does. Maybe he'll be like super, super pumped up or something. Obviously, he's going to defend himself against charges of conspiracy and wire fraud, and I want to see him actually answer for what Carolyn Ellison and Gary Wang said. I also want to see him cross-examine. So, pretty sure like this is just an excuse, but it's a wild, wild excuse that he can't actually concentrate without his drugs. Just give him the drug, whatever, make an exception, have him testify, have him destroy himself, and then you can do whatever you want. So that's crazy with Sam Bankman-Fried. So California has a new crypto law, and Governor Gavin Newsom, even though he did not sign this into law last year, he did sign it into law this year. And, this is one of those places where maybe regulation isn't the best thing because this one actually has stringent requirements on crypto. Now, he said this would actually go against innovation last year. I'm not exactly sure what changed his mind. I guess the banking fat cats finally got to him, so he signed this bill. So he announced this on October 13th, and it's called the Digital Financial Assets Law. And basically, it says that individuals and enterprises to secure a Department of Financial Protection and Innovation license to partake in digital asset-related operations. And this is from the Office of Governor. I am signing Assembly Bill 39, that's the bill, which establishes the Digital Financial Assets Law beginning July 1st, 2025. So it doesn't kick in for like another year and a half, 2 years. This bill requires the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation to create a robust regulatory framework, including licensure and enforcement authority for certain crypto activities. So they're giving them more authority than they currently have. That's not something that we like. Importantly, this bill appropriately provides DFPI with rulemaking authority and an 18-month implementation date to ensure the adopted regulatory framework can be thoughtfully tailored to address industry trends and mitigate consumer harm. I thank the author for the effort to create a clear and comprehensive approach for regulating the digital assets market. Stronger consumer and investor protections will prevent fraud and ensure bad actors are held accountable. However, ambiguity of certain terms and the scope of this bill will require further refinement, so it's going to be refined even more in both the regulatory process and in the statute to provide clarity to both customers, regulators, and business subject to this new licensure framework. It is essential that we strike an appropriate balance between protecting consumers from harm and fostering a responsible innovation environment. I don't really know if this is going to foster a responsible innovation environment. I highly doubt it, but you know what? He was probably pressured into doing this by his own party, so I can't really fault him for actually signing. There's probably immense pressure on him. I don't think Newsom actually wanted to sign it because he basically denied the same exact bill last year. And what this does, though, it imposes like really stringent audit criteria on crypto companies, and it makes them maintain meticulous records, which could be very, very costly. So I do believe this will actually be anti-innovation, unfortunately. There was a similar bill last year, and it did not win Newsom's approval. They probably changed a couple of small things in that bill, and plus, like, they got the big wigs to actually pressure him to actually sign this bill, so it's actually in power. We usually do clamor for crypto regulations, but this is not the kind of regulations that we actually want, because this could actually put crypto in California, back a step. And you know what? Some of those companies could actually move out of California, although I haven't really seen too many companies that start in California, crypto-wise, actually move away. Not any of the big ones. Don't think Ripple is going to move out their headquarters out from California or any of the others, because Silicon Valley is still a great way to attract talent. So yeah, I'm not so crazy about this, but hey, you got some regulations at least that we were clamming for. And third of all, Uniswap has a KYC KYC hook, which is actually making people question Uniswap, because obviously people who do DeFi on Uniswap do not actually want KYC. There is a hook that enables KYC verification on Uniswap version 4 pools, and it's fueling debates about DeFi's future. Obviously, may not be so decentralized. So there's a new hook available on an open source directory for Uniswap version 4 hooks, and there's a lot of controversy, and I can easily understand why there's controversy. The hook enables users to be checked for KYC before they can trade in a pool. So it's DeFi still, sort of, but they know who you are. Obviously, many of the people actually use DeFi to be anonymous, so they're not going to like that. So one of the users said, as I explained in all my posts for the last year, it starts with KYC option for LPs, then eventually it moves to a regulator whitelist approved database hosted off-chain, and then non-KYC gets labeled as illegal terrorist money laundering. Stop simping for soy boys. Or that last part, whatever. But the thing is, like, I do feel like it could be the start of government control, and that's why a lot of people don't like it. Because I can see a lot of things moving from, it's just an option right now to, yes, it's illegal terrorist money if you don't do KYC. So I think there are people trying to move Uniswap and Dexis to that KYC AML step, and that could actually be bad for people that actually want to remain anonymous. So it's essentially just a thing to allow developers to customize code right now. And of course, like, if DeFi actually wants to get regulator approval, it probably needs this. But at the same time, it would kind of like defeat some of the purpose of DeFi. So I'm really not for it. So like the KYC hook was rolled out by a community developer on Uniswap version 4's directory. The KYC verification is carried out by a non-fungible token, or NFT. According to another X user, the hook is specific for liquidity providers and may be useful for projects that must comply with regulatory requirements. I do think it is actually useful, but at the same time, like, I think it will set the standard that KYC should actually be mandatory for DeFi, and I'm not really sure if I agree with that. So overall, I'm giving this a thumbs down, but hey, maybe if you want DeFi to be regulatory compliant, maybe you should give it a thumbs up. I'm not sure. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.